This episode of Co-op is brought to you by Squarespace, GoDaddy.com, and Netflix.
You guys know 817? The area code? Where's that?
Isn't that Philippines, I think? Or Santa Cruz?
Hello. Hey, my copy of Mad World came in.
Sweet. Nice.
That's cool. It'll be in tomorrow.
Isn't that on the Wii?
Dude, I totally forgot it was on the Wii.
Oh, that's awesome. That means mine should be in soon too.
Oh, you ordered it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Easy.
Man, I don't even know where my Wii is anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I like lost it or something.
Dude, you gotta take good care of your shit, man. That's important. I haven't been playing games with my Wii, but at least I know where it is, and I know it's getting put to good use.
Really? Where's yours?
Check it.
Wow.
Seriously? That's about the best use of it I've seen in a while.
Hell yeah, something's gotta hold up all the liquor.
Oh,
Can't believe
jeez, that thing's pretty dusty, man. Oh.
It's pretty good, you know?
It's pretty gross, dude.
Oh.
Jeez. Oh.
It's some free cancer for you.
Oh, jeez,
That's disgusting.
The thing I like about you most is you'd run away with me. So pack your bags and your shotgun too. We might run into zombies. We're always down for that co-op multiplayer action. We're always down. We're so down. We're so down. We're so down for co-op. We're so down for that co-op action.
Squarespace is a publishing system for anyone looking to build a blog, portfolio, or any kind of website. Squarespace offers a uniquely flexible tool for just about anyone, no coding experience required, to build high-end, complex websites with that same functionality that you will find on some of the highest trafficked web pages on the web. Sign up today and use promo code COOP.
The visual style is kind of reminiscent of SimCity, but I think it's way more reminiscent of Japanese manga.
But the character design is not manga. Like, the character design is strictly Western oriented, which I think is one of the strengths of this game.
And not only does it get the comic book, the contrast, you know, but the panels, it does what Ang Lee's Hulk could not.
You Naomi? Your father sent me. I'm guessing you know why.
But to me, what stands out more than those type of framey graphics is the use of black and white, because I really think that when you're only limiting yourself to those two shades, you really have to frame for it, especially in the cutscenes.
It's almost like an old black and white film, you know, you see a Kurosawa or you see a John Ford, it's like black character against white background.
Exactly.
It's really well done.
Because of the limitations of the amount of colors that they're using, they have to be more inventive with the graphics and the textures and the level design.
The whole time I was playing this game, I was telling everyone, God, I wish this game was on 360 because those textures would pop.
I think it looks really good because it's a Wii game. You couldn't get away with using the flat or no textures on a 360 PS3.
I think you really could. I think Mirror's Edge show that you can do it. I think that Cell Shaded game show that you can do it too. Everything's line drawing, so I'd rather see less pixelated lines and more hard edge lines.
When I was playing it on like the HDTV in the office, the aliasing and stuff just added to kind of almost the hand-drawn aesthetic of it. It made it look a little dirty, more pulp-like. And for me, I actually dug that.
Your knight's going to need a fire hose to get that blood off his shining armor.
The Wii, we know that it's a limited machine. It can't do what the 360 and the PS3 does. So a developer has to do interesting things with the graphics. to make it bearable. Mad World stands, in my opinion, with a lot of the games of the next generation, the HD version.
I would agree, and I
That
agree
is
that
an accomplishment.
It's a brawler, you know, you chain combos to get a bunch of points, and then once you have gotten a certain number of points, it unlocks the next thing you can do in that stage, whether it's a mini game or eventually the boss battle.
Screaming in terror that just makes me happy. It's the little things in life.
Within the first 10 minutes, you have everything that your character can do for the entire game.
Yeah. You're told to use combo objects in the environment to increase your score. And they're of the same two types. There's the pokey ones that are like street signs, and there's the ones that go over the head.
Yeah.
And they do change it up by like making them, you know, this time it's a model of a planet, this time it's a flame barrel, this time it's a box. But the basic motion that you do is the same. You've got all these enemies around you, but everyone's just standing around while I'm like very specifically, okay, I need to grab this pipe from here, stab this guy. Where's a barrel? Barrel's over here. Okay, where's that guy that has the pipe in him? Oh, he's over there behind that guy. Okay, so run past all these enemies that are trying to kill me and go put the barrel on him and then do, you know, my throw move so that he ends up in the slicer. It's like, I just feel like I'm doing the exact same thing that I did at the beginning of the game.
Hey, that's my move. I invented that. You invented killing somebody with a signpost and a tire? I think so. Maybe it was a jet and a tractor. That's horrible.
To me, the main problem is that the Wii controls detract from the game for me.
There's kind of a visceral feeling you get when, for example, you pop an enemy up in the air and then you jab up with the controller as your chainsaw jabs up on screen that you wouldn't get if you were just, say, hitting A or hitting B.
In the game, you hold down the B button to activate your chainsaw. Vertical slash is a vertical slash, a horizontal slash is a horizontal slash. Why is it that I can do the horizontal slash maybe 15% of the time that I try to do it? When a game is about combat, where, you know, every single decision you make applies to the combo that you make and the amount of score that you get, it needs to work every time.
I totally agree that there are so many instances when I got really pissed at the Wii controller, especially on the bosses. Suddenly I have to do a quick time like slash down. I never ever seem to get it, and I got killed so many times. It really pissed me off. On the other hand, the very first time I started this game, when I'm slamming the person against the rose bush with the Wii mode, that's a very visceral feeling. I totally agree with David on that. As you get more and more points, you get different weapons. The weapons for me are definitely the highlight because you can do so many cool things. When I got the spear, I shish kebab 3 of those.
Yeah.
I run over to the hot spring, throw 3 of them in, and take 2 other guys with me, and I got my first extreme violence. I was very happy.
Stick around, buddy. What's that guy's name? How should I know? You called him buddy. Fuck you. It's not my fault you don't have any friends.
What's interesting is the way that the story is told. When you start the game, it's almost like there's going to be no story. You're just this guy taking part in this sort of battle royale-esque death match that's going on in the city. As the game goes on, you learn things about your character way late. This is like the end of level 4, and I just found out my character is an ex-cop. So I like the progression of the narrative. I like that it's a game first, and the narration and the story comes second, and I think that's really well done.
Cute doll. I prefer my dolls to be inflatable and have 3 holes to plow. I guess that loser's swimming with the fishes. One order of asshole over easy.
It's like fast food, you know? It's like watching a B film or something like that, where it's just delightful in the most easy way that it possibly could be delightful.
And I think the narration actually completely fundamentally changes the way the game would appear if it wasn't there.
Another life for Jack. I used an extra life once and came back as a roach. Sounds like you got the Wheel of Karma extra life. I actually enjoyed it. You know, a cockroach can live for a week without its head. Big deal. I went through 8 years of marriage without any head.
It takes the game from being like a generic, ultra-violent brawler to a parody of generic, ultra-violent brawler. Because they're making fun of what's going on screen. A perfect example would be you fight this kind of female vampire character, and as typical in video games, she has ridiculously large breasts. And your first reaction is, really? Really?
Yeah.
And Greg Proop's standard response to everything he says about her is, and she's got an awesome
giant
rack.
rag.
Like that self-awareness, willingness to like make fun of itself, I think
Yeah.
is what takes it from being like misogynistic and ridiculous ultraviolent to like a parody.
That boss is what really stands out in mind for me for the music. When that track dropped, when you were fighting that boss, I was just like, I turned up the speakers and I was just like, fuck yeah.
I wear the hottest shit, the glasses on my head. Pen chick with my nine strapped to my head. So
I mean, I know it sounds like I'm being negative. It's not. I really like this game, and I'm glad it came out for the Wii, and I'm glad that it does a lot of things differently. That's really cool. It's like literally the only Wii game I played since No More Heroes and Endless Ocean. And if I only had a Wii, I would be sad if I was this person, but this would be the only game that I would be playing right now, except for a bunch of WiiWare stuff. So, you know, it's nice to have it finally come out. It's nice to have it deliver on mostly what I expected it to be. And honestly, most of my problems with the game stem from the console in which they chose to make it.
See, I love the style. This is the game that the Wii has been waiting for. It shows what the Wii can do.
Any Wii owner would be lucky to play this game. It's amazing.
It's one of the biggest surprises that I've found all year, so.
Think you're smarter than the rest? Prove it, and you could win big! If SmartSpace from GoDaddy.com has changed the way that you use the internet, the way you blog, the way you do business, the way you live your life, create a blog or video story that shows how. You might just win $25,000 in cash prizes and free SmartSpace for life. So head over to GoDaddy.com/SS contest and enter now. Don't have SmartSpace? See what it's all about and save an additional 15% through April 15th. Use promo code SPACE15.
Let's see here. I know it's here somewhere. Tripod.
It's weird because that we don't usually talk about games that came out
that have been out for like a fucking year.
Yeah,
I know. It's in fact like we usually end up doing stuff way too early or you know, just after it came out or whatever. But like this is one that I've wanted to talk about forever because it's so cool.
And I missed it. It just came out in the middle of the busiest season last year, and I just honestly didn't get a chance to play it until recently.
And you know, it's one of those games I think that despite how utterly fantastic it is, probably could get overlooked by a lot of audiences, and and it shouldn't, because it's just it's a masterpiece in its own, you know, in its own respect.
It really. I think everyone thinks that it's going to be a bridge building game because that's what you see in the screenshots.
And that's what it starts out as. And, and it's like, it's the first couple of levels you think, oh, I got this figured out. There's going to be gaps, there's going to be obstacles that I have to build my bridges around to get the goo to the pipe to escape the level. But every single stage like throws something a little different at you.
I go into it and, you know, it does seem like Bridge Building 101. I was like, oh yeah, I built a toothpick bridge in middle school. Like, I know how to deal with this stuff. But then you start realizing that there's all these, you know, imaginative layers. All right, so now you can build things, but did you know that you can rebuild things, or you can't rebuild other things? These different classes of goo are introduced that have physical properties, and it totally changes up the gameplay. When I was playing it, I was thinking, all right, this is like bridge building plus a big incredible machine, like reactions and all that, plus lemmings, plus incredible artwork, plus, I mean, just everything.
It has these different kind of crescendos, these moments where you realize like this game is doing something totally different. So the first time is like when they start adding the different types of goo balls. But it wasn't until about the end of the first world when I realized, you know, the narrative in this game is really the thing that pushes it over the edge for me. I think it's the final stage of World 1 is where you escape out of the, you build like it's something that floats you out of a mouth of a beast or something like that.
The intestines, you know.
Coming out the other side and you're like, wow, I just gave these goo balls freedom, you know? And it was something that I was totally not expecting in a bridge building game.
You tear the eyeballs off and you use them as a flotation device.
They're
You're like, what?
It's so
Those
cool.
were the eyeballs. That's great.
Yeah. And it just keeps doing that. From that point on, it really starts like ramping up the narrative, ramping up the weirdness of it all. I mean, you've got the stages where like there's a lot of wind blowing, so you have to like go over the top of these windmills, and so I really end up liking the stages where you have a lot of green goo balls and you start in one spot and you end up having to like move your entire structure. It's so much fun.
It changes up that kind of gameplay through the whole game. I mean, once you get to the information superhighway, it's everything goes retro green monochrome, and then your goo balls, they take on different properties. Now it's like, instead of just like dragging them to build things, you aim them and shoot them.
Right.
And then if you shoot them through like this red virus stuff, then they can be hooked on to other red ones. Total surprise. The whole way through this game is a surprise, all the way until the end.
And the nice thing about it too is that the way that it progresses is that you feel like you're getting smart. It's like a tutorial, but it's not really, because you know, you start out from base 1, then it gets a little bit more complicated, and then every single stage that you come to, it's really daunting. You're like, oh, what am I gonna do here? But then you realize, you're like, oh wait, I remember, like, because I used those goo balls the last time, and then if I combine it with these balls, you know, it's just so satisfactory.
Perfect.
I know you guys were playing it on PC, I was playing it on Wii, but it's really just a point and click sort of game.
Yep.
And
really simple.
And for it to keep giving you something new as you go on is really an accomplishment. Even little things like the sign painter, who like
the omnipresent like narrator who you never see, but he has all these wonderful like little quibbles to say here and there. I mean, it's just
hilarious.
He's so great, almost like you're best friends with the game from like base 1, you know?
That's a good way to think of it.
Yeah.
It totally gives this game that Portal vibe.
I was just gonna say that. But that's what's so brilliant.
That's what's so brilliant about it.
This tiny little thing, you know, all it took was like, you know, one sentence instead of, you know, dialogue throughout the entire game.
Yep.
I was just thinking that the other day, a soundtrack that I love, and I think is one of the best soundtracks, is Terry Taylor's soundtrack for The Neverhood and Skull Monkeys. It's this really unique stuff, and I was just thinking, like, you know, I really haven't seen a soundtrack that's as good as this. And then I started playing World of Goo, and I was like, all right, never mind. Like, this is really great. I mean, it definitely does add so much color to the whole game.
The music is so good. It's that first opening theme totally has that Tim Burton Nightmare Before Christmas vibe to it, and then every stage like has a vibe that fits it.
World of Goo was put together by what, like one or two people, two guys, right? So I mean, you can just tell how much they loved what they were doing. They weren't sidetracked by, you know, the bullshit like, oh, we got to commodify this for like the mass audiences. They did what they loved, and they put that in every single molecule that literally goes into this game. I mean, and I think that it's so exciting. I mean, games like this should get more coverage and should get more praise because, like we were saying, like I haven't heard a voice like that since Portal, and before that, you know, it really reminded me of all the old adventure games, like the great voice and the comedic sense that just really you really just don't see anymore.
Every time you complete a stage with more goo balls than you need to pass the stage, those goo balls get added to the factory stage. Right. And in the factory stage, it's kind of this. It's kind of does the Nobi Boy thing, where it's both a leaderboard and like a competition thing at the same time. All of your extra balls, or all your extra goo balls, are in there, and you just start building a tower. That's all you do is build a tower with them. And as you continue to build your tower, like there's these little clouds, so that it shows you where other players have gotten to in the height of their tower. And so the competition is just to see how high you can build your tower.
I love that we're, you know, I mean, I've been saying it for the past year, and I know you have, and I'm sure you have too. These tiny indie games are really changing the scape of everything.
Yeah.
It's super exciting. In fact, I just played a new one today called Bit.Trip Beat that you guys have got to see. It is so awesome. It's for the...
Is that on PC?
No. Well, I honestly don't know. I just know that it came out on WiiWare this week.
Yeah?
Oh, this week?
Just this week. It's brand new. You will love it. It's old school. It's retro.
Right.
It's awesome. You got to check it out.
Okay.
All right,
You guys want to see it?
Well, my ice cream is done, so
Let's go.
They now have over 40 shipping centers, so almost all deliveries happen in just one business day. That means you can get the terminal tomorrow, Rob.
Really?
Yes.
Awesome! Yes!
The Netflix plans start from $4.99. As a new member, you can get a no-risk 2-week free trial membership. Check it out at www.netflix.com/COOP. Remember to type the www when using this code.
Yes! Yes!
My first impression was basically that the Space Invaders Extreme version of Pong, without being Pong.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a licensed version of Pong at all. I don't, you know, it's made by someone completely different. But it takes that same basic mechanic and gives it the extreme, retro extreme treatment.
The extreme makeover?
Yeah, precisely. I mean, it starts off very simple. That's the other thing about this game I like, is that, you know, it's a very simple game. All you do is twiddle the Wii remote, but it starts off easy and gets pretty hard about, I don't know, 5 minutes in, about where you're at is when it starts getting like pretty tricky.
Yeah, because you think it's really easy when it's just like, oh yeah, I'm just taking those, but then they start moving and then they start interacting with you when you hit them back. They come back at you, you know. You know, you power the music kind of like Audio Surf. Yeah. It's like that, except with even more range of like the bits coming after you like left and right. And like, it is really sad when you don't get all the music and you're just this little black and white.
It always feels good when you come back from that, because then the music kicks back in and it's like,
yeah,
love it.
There's levels, obviously, because you get more of the, you know, Hyper Mega, and I don't know what's after Mega, because I clearly wasn't good enough to do it.
I wonder how high it goes, you know? Like, how many different stages are there, and what does the songs, because the song seems to increase in complexity the higher, you know, the better you're doing.
I want this on my iPhone.
Exactly. I was hoping someone would say that, because that's exactly what I thought when I was playing.
It does look like an iPhone game.
At first you think like maybe a touchscreen game, but no, like motion control with this would be perfect
as long as
on the
you didn't
iPhone.
have to turn it too far away, but yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit would be great.
Awesome.
Oh, what a jerk. That Pixel was a dick.
Aw.
Give it to me.
Aw.
So sad.
Those ones are hard.
Bye.